Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil, is an animated television series that aired on Disney XD from February 13, 2010 to December 2, 2012. Created by Sandro Corsaro, the show has a total of 2 seasons and 52 two-segmented episodes. Before we proceed to the episodes, let's set some context. This is Kick Buttowski, the son of Harold and Honey Buttowski. This 10-year-old energetic and charismatic protagonist wants to become the greatest daredevil in the world and performs all kinds of dangerous stunts in each episode. His biggest rival is his own elder brother Brad, who is jealous of all the praise Kick gets. He also has a spoiled little sister Brianna, who is all about that diva lifestyle and doesn't do much except be sassy. Kick's best friend is Gunther Magnusson, who belongs to the Nordic culture. He is always there to support him and back him up when trouble arises. Then there is everyone's favorite Wade, who works at the local food and fix and often helps the boys out of perilous situations. There are some other characters like Jackie Wackerman, Kendall Perkins, and Gordy Gibble, but we will learn more about them as the show progresses. For now, let's jump into the first episode, Dead Man's Drop. In a quest to conquer the legendary Dead Man's Drop on an ironing board, Kick Buttowski faces a setback as he crashes into Mr. Vickles' rosebush, leaving him both embarrassed and sore. Undeterred, Kick gears up for a second attempt, but his brother Brad tries to keep him at home. With the help of his loyal friend Gunther, Kick manages a daring escape. A spirited chase down Dead Man's Drop unfolds, and this time, Kick pulls off the stunt successfully. However, Brad's pursuit ends in him landing in a thorny bush. As he performs a thorn removal surgery on himself, Kick records it on video, and the two joke about Brad having no pants on. In the episode Stumped, Kick Buttowski and his friend Gunther are super excited about seeing monster truck legend Billy Stumps at the Mellowbrook Mall. But due to not closing his eyes for 6 days, Kick falls asleep, and they miss Billy's show. Feeling bummed, Kick discovers a chance to ride with Billy during a monster truck jump. All he has to do is find a special golden key in a can of Cheetah Chug. With Wade's help, they get lots of Cheetah Chug, and after a few funny moments, Kick makes it to the monster truck extravaganza just in time for Billy's jump. Here's the twist. Kick accidentally does the jump instead of Billy and wrecks the monster truck. Surprisingly, the crowd cheers for Kick, even though his clothes get messed up from some icky waste. But guess what? Kick doesn't even notice because he's basking in the cheers, and Billy stops Gunther from telling Kick about his clothes. In the episode If Books Could Kill, Kick gets an autographed book from Billy Stumps in the mail, but things take a wild turn when he accidentally switches it with Gunther's library book. Gunther returns Kick's book to the library by mistake, and now the librarian won't give it back. Kick and Gunther come up with a sneaky plan for Kick to retrieve the book after hours. However, the librarian catches them, leading to a crazy chase in the library. After a bit of chaos and library mayhem, Kick escapes with his book and an unexpected sandwich from Gunther. In There Will Be Nachos, Brad's throwing a party, and Kick accidentally swipes Brad's invitation-filled backpack. Eager to join the festivities, Kick and Gunther face Brad's strict entrance policy. Their attempts to sneak in and snag some nachos lead to hilarious antics. Meanwhile, the party itself is a total bust, with Brad desperately trying to keep the few attendees from leaving. Kick's grand entrance involves launching his bike off a ramp and landing in a pool of nacho cheese, a stunt that goes viral online. Suddenly, the party becomes a massive hit as people flock to join the fun. Ultimately, Brad has no choice but to let Kick and Gunther in on the action. In Kick the Habit, facing the threat of military school due to his wild stunts, Kick strives to prove to his concerned parents and the neighborhood that he can go a whole day without performing any daring feats. Despite Gunther's attempts to keep him contained in a plastic ball and even shocking him with a device, Kick struggles to resist the allure of stunts, especially when Brad keeps tempting him. Seeking advice from Wade, Kick learns to relax, allowing him to resist the neighborhood's attempts to provoke him into stunting. However, when Brad unveils an incredible personal truck carrier, Kick can't resist. With 1 minute left, the truck takes off, leaving everyone anxious about Kick's fate. To their surprise, Kick wasn't inside and had completed the challenge, earning the pride of his parents. Meanwhile, Brad faces consequences for his attempt to steal the truck. In Not Without My Cereal, during a grocery shopping trip with his mom and sister, Kick discovers the last box of Billy Stump's Berry Dangerous Crunch cereal at Mellow Mart. His mom, Honey, agrees to let him have it if he watches over his sister, Brianna, while she completes her shopping. However, Brianna grabs the cereal and initiates a chase around the store, turning it into a chaotic pursuit. The store manager, Glenn, becomes suspicious and joins the chase. Using grocery items strategically, Kick manages to evade Glenn, but Brianna proves equally adept at avoiding her brother. When caught, Brianna helps Kick escape, and they clean up the store on a buffer just in time for their mom to arrive. Impressed by the clean store, Honey rewards Kick with the coveted cereal, and it all ends well. In battle for the snacks, upon discovering that Gunther's family has to move due to the lack of business at their food store, Forward, Kick is determined to help them boost sales. Together, they rebrand the establishment as Battle Snacks to incorporate Gunther's Nordic heritage. Despite their various attempts, such as introducing entertainment, a new paint job, and placing an axe atop the restaurant, none seem to attract customers, despite the delectable food they offer. In a last-ditch effort, Kick intentionally gathers an angry crowd at Battle Snacks. However, the irresistible aroma of the delicious food captivates the crowd, ultimately leading them to dine at the restaurant and saving Gunther's family business from closure. In Obsession for Kick, Kick pulls off an exciting stunt in his neighborhood, catching the attention of a new girl named Jackie Wackerman. Jackie becomes his fan, starting a fan club and going to extreme lengths to express her admiration, like replicating Kick's room and creating dolls in his likeness. Unaware of the growing issue, Kick enjoys the attention until it starts interfering with his stunts and personal space. This strains his friendship with Gunther, who feels neglected. Realizing the problem, Kick, with Gunther's help, pretends to shift focus from daredevil stunts to safety. Although Jackie seemingly falls for the act, her lingering obsession is revealed through sinister laughter from the bushes, hinting that her infatuation with Kick may not be over. In Snowpocalypse, Kick and Gunther look forward to an epic snow day as the entire planet is covered in snow. They kick off the day by building a massive snow ramp. However, Mellowbrook Elementary School remains open due to the class president, Kendall, demanding it stays that way. When the school bus attempts to navigate the snow ramp but ends up sliding out of control and into a gully, Kendall insists that everyone stay on the bus until help arrives. Kick and Gunther decide to seek assistance from Wade at the Food and Fix. As hunger sets in, the stranded kids on the bus turn into food-deprived zombies. Kick and Gunther face a challenging journey through a blizzard to find Wade, and with a clever plan involving Oscar as a motor, they successfully tow the bus out of the gully. The adventure concludes with Kick and Gunther declaring it the best snow day ever. In Runaway Recital, Kick faces the challenge of being forced by his father, Harold, to stay indoors and practice playing the piano, a skill he struggles with. Despite Harold's insistence, Kick is determined to attend an event with free ice cream and a half-pipe outside. He attempts various strategies to sneak out, but Harold catches him every time. When Harold leaves for the store, Kick seizes the opportunity and plans to ride the piano on the half-pipe. To gain enough speed, he and Gunther ride the piano down Deadman's Drop, steering it by playing the notes in tune. The adventurous ride takes them through various places in town, including a performing arts building, a car wash, and even crashing a wedding. Although Kick concludes that pianos are awesome, his subsequent attempt to impress Harold with his piano playing fails. Undeterred, Kick takes Harold on a piano ride through town, claiming he just needed a change of venue. In Trike X5, Gunther proudly showcases the Kick Buttowski Museum of Awesome to the neighborhood kids, featuring photos and mementos from Kick's daring life, with the centerpiece being Kick's first stunt tricycle, Trike X5. As Kick fondly recalls how he obtained the tricycle, his sister Brianna unexpectedly steals it, adorning it with sparkles and rainbows for a beauty pageant. Determined to reclaim his prized possession, Kick pursues Brianna through town and eventually to the pageant venue. Despite various attempts to retrieve Trike X5, Kick discovers that Brianna is considering quitting the pageant due to competition fears. In a surprising turn, Kick decides to support Brianna by lending her Trike X5 for an incredible stunt, leading her to victory in the pageant. Ultimately, Kick graciously allows Brianna to keep Trike X5 as a gesture of sibling camaraderie. In Dropkick, frustrated by Brad's bullying, Kick trains with Gunther under Papercut Peterson, a former wrestler with a vendetta against his older brother, Shogun Sanchez. Shogun took over Papercut's wrestling academy, leading to his downfall. To help Papercut reclaim his life, Kick arranges a wrestling match between Papercut and Shogun. When the battle takes a dark turn with Shogun tricking Papercut, Kick steps in and faces off against Brad, Shogun's star student. Using his skateboarding skills, Kick defeats Brad, and Papercut undergoes a powerful transformation to help secure victory over Shogun and his students. This win not only redeems Papercut, but also proves that sometimes younger brothers can prevail against their older counterparts. In The Gift of Wacky, while performing a stunt, Kick receives an invitation to Wacky Jackie's birthday party. Annoyed by her previous interference in his stunt, Kick initially plans to get rid of her. He strikes a deal with Brad to find a gift in exchange for giving up his room. However, when Kick arrives at Jackie's party and realizes he's the only guest, he decides to turn the situation around and throws her an incredible party. The only oversight is forgetting to bring a present for Jackie. She might not like the idea of a birthday without a present. In the episode Things That Make You Go Boom, Kick and Brad engage in a scavenger hunt to locate Boom's lucky skate wheel. Surprisingly, it's Brad who emerges victorious, winning an epic trip to Hawaii with Boom. However, Brad realizes that daredevil stunts aren't his passion. In a surprising act of brotherly generosity, he decides to give up the prize, acknowledging that it means more to Kick. With Brad stepping aside, Kick seizes the opportunity and takes his brother's place in the exhilarating stunt known as the Stunt to End All Stunts. Prepared to give it his all, Kick aims to shine as a true daredevil superstar. In the episode Kyle Be Back, we meet Kyle, the annoying cousin that every one of us has in our families. This kid is always talking, and it annoys everyone in the whole of Mellowbrook. Then, in Rank of Awesome, after Kick's attempt to upload an awesome skateboarding stunt to the Rank of Awesome website falls flat with low rankings, he becomes determined to claim the #1 spot. He constructs an elaborate stunt involving a gigantic skateboard ramp, loops, a shark tank jump, and even hooking off the wing of an airplane. However, a slight timing issue causes Kick to crash into the shark tank, and the video ranks poorly again. Undeterred, Kick decides to embrace the internet's love for cats and creates a stunt involving Wade in a fish diaper, leading a flood of cats for Kick to cat surf. The finale involves Kick catapulting himself and the cats into the air, aiming for a pool of milk. Despite a crash landing and a hospital visit, his fanbase captures the chaotic spectacle from every angle, turning it into a video that unexpectedly claims the #1 spot on Rank of Awesome. In Breaking the Grade, it's Mellowbrook Demolition Derby, and Kick also faces the dilemma of report card day at school. Fearing his dad's reaction to his grades, he attempts to intercept the report card before it reaches home. Brad catches wind of Kick's predicament and becomes determined to ensure Harold sees the report card. In a race against time, Kick and Brad try to get hold of the report card, and the situation intensifies. When Harold finally reads the report card, it turns out Kick's grades have improved, and he's relieved. However, due to the challenges Kick faced in securing the report card, he ended up missing the derby. To add to the irony, Harold mistakes Kick's souvenir shard for a letter opener and grounds him for tampering with the mail, all while trying to keep the improved report card a secret from Kick. In Dancing with the Enemy, the gym teacher cancels dodgeball due to safety concerns, leading to a dance appreciation class with Mr. Vickler. Kick, unhappy about dancing, attempts to escape but fails. A dance contest is announced, and Kick is reluctantly paired with Kendall, while Jackie dances with Gunther. The winners are promised an A+ and a trophy. Jackie tries to make Kick jealous, and Gunther seeks help to avoid dancing with her. Kick and Kendall struggle to agree on a dance style until they decide on an Awesome Elegance fusion. The contest day arrives, and Kick and Kendall outshine the competition with their unique dance. Despite a tie, the gym coach decides dodgeball as the tiebreaker, resulting in Emo Kid getting pelted and leaving the winners undecided. Kick and Kendall share a moment of mutual admiration, but quickly act disgusted when urged to kiss by an onlooker. Episode Fistful of Ice Cream. On Harold Buttowski's birthday, the hottest day in Mellowbrook, the Cowboy Kelly. Ice cream bars for the party are at risk when the truck breaks down. Kick and Gunther decide to retrieve the ice cream by hijacking the ice cream truck. However, they face the 3rd Street Bandits, who want the ice cream for themselves. A chase ensues, leading them through a mine, and Kick manages to outsmart the bandits, saving the cowboy Kelly bars. Despite melting on the way home, Kick saves one bar under his helmet, declaring, "It pays to keep a cool head," and is hailed as a hero. Meanwhile, Brad's attempt to save the party results in a mix-up, as he unintentionally buys hot jalapeno pepper bars instead of cold treats. In the episode A Frame Story, Kick discovers that someone is framing him by staging dangerous stunts which can lead to his expulsion. Determined to find the culprit, Kick and Gunther conduct an investigation, gathering clues such as a cap from a capless red marker, red letters on the wall saying "Kick was here," and a capless red marker. They interview suspects including Kendall Perkins and Ronaldo, the physics nerd, but rule them out. Eventually, they catch the school janitor in the act with the incriminating evidence. Kick presents the proof to the principal, who is ready to fire the janitor until Kick suggests keeping him to avoid paperwork. The principal agrees, sparing the janitor from termination, and instructs Kick to return to class. In the season finale and action, Kick develops a crush on Scarlett Rossetti, Tina sometimes daredevil stunt double, and decides to help her gain more recognition. To boost her exposure, he advises her to get her own role and Scarlett quits her job, jeopardizing the TV show's continuation, which leads to backlash from Brianna and other fans. To salvage the situation, Kick takes on the role of Tina's new stunt double, hoping to keep the show on air. However, Scarlett eventually returns to the series as her own character, Scarlet Letter, while Emo Kid steps in as Tina's new stunt double. Meanwhile, Gunther develops a crush on Tina and attempts to secure a date with her. His efforts are futile because she's already dating someone. In Love Stinks, Kick becomes fed up with Brad's bullying, but when Brad gets a new girlfriend named Kelly, Kick appreciates the positive change in Brad's behavior. Enjoying his time away from the usual antagonism, Kick is content until he discovers that Kelly is only using Brad for a cheerleading initiation. Faced with a dilemma, Kick must choose between maintaining his Brad-free life or intervening to save him from public humiliation. Ultimately, Kick decides to rescue Brad, leading to Kelly breaking up with him. Despite the brief respite, Brad returns to his bullying ways. In the episode Kick in Jeans, Kick and Gunther are on the verge of completing the Kick Buttowski Museum of Awesome, requiring only a water stunt for its grand opening. Kick discovers that his mother, previously a daredevil known as Honey Splash, attempted to break the land speed record on water, but faced a setback due to a hand cramp. Wanting to help her fulfill her dream, Kick teams up with his mother to complete the stunt. Together, they successfully break the land speed record on water, allowing Honey Splash to make a triumphant comeback. Now I see where he gets the daredevil genes from. And now, it is time for one of the most important episodes of the whole show, Truth or Daredevil. The episode kicks off with Kick and Gunther utilizing Mr. Vickles' duct system to construct a water slide. Unfortunately, Brad intervenes and sabotages the slide, causing Kick to take a fall. Following the mishap, Honey informs Kick that the entire family will attend Brianna's pageant, but Kick is assigned the task of staying with Grandpa. Despite finding Grandpa initially boring, Kick is challenged to clean his garage. During this chore, Kick discovers an old photo of Grandpa as a military soldier and his medal for spying on the enemy line. Intrigued, Kick prompts Grandpa to share the exciting story of his career as a spy. The story unfolds as Grandpa recounts his adventurous past, starting as a young delivery boy. He gets abducted by the US military, led by General Rock Callahan, and is recruited as a spy. Grandpa's mission is to retrieve a package from a chemistry lab in Little Village, Tankinistan, under the dictatorship of Brad. The objective is to secure the formula for the rocket fuel known as Jaguar Juice and deliver it to Mellowbrook before the enemy can. Equipped with a motorcycle from Wade, Grandpa faces challenges, including a perilous escape from the dictator and his henchmen, Horace and Patsy. Arriving at the chemistry lab, Grandpa discovers that the package is none other than the scientist, Gunther, with the formula implanted in his brain. He takes the scientist to the plane, but to his surprise, it was already overrun by the dictator and his men who kick him off, ending the first part on a cliffhanger. Continuing the thrilling saga, Grandpa finds himself saved from falling to his demise by a member of the resistance, Jackie, who is infatuated with him just as she is in the present. Jackie joins the resistance due to her admiration for Grandpa. Together, they plan to infiltrate the enemy base, utilizing a fisherman's lederhosen to fashion a glider. The daring mission takes an unexpected turn as the glider crashes and Grandpa loses his goggles. Undeterred, they press on, with Jackie becoming a distraction while Grandpa sneaks in to rescue the scientist from the clutches of the dictator. The dictator's bizarre torture tactics involve eating with his mouth open, attempting to force the scientist to surrender the formula. Grandpa's support beam breaks during the rescue, resulting in a fight between him and the dictator, reminiscent of Kick and Brad's daily battles. Grandpa emerges victorious and escapes with the scientist, using a motorcycle and even the dictator's tank in a high-stakes chase. The climax unfolds as they thwart the dictator's pursuit, and with the scientist's Jaguar juice, Grandpa leads the resistance to triumph over the dictator's army, marking a victorious conclusion to the tale of Grandpa's daring exploits. The story concludes with Grandpa sharing a nostalgic moment with Kick, showing him his old motorcycle and passing down his cherished goggles. Eager for one more adventure, Grandpa takes Kick on a ride with the bike, but their journey is cut short as the motorcycle runs out of fuel. However, Grandpa has a surprise up his sleeve and reveals his old can of Jaguar juice, using it to refuel the bike. With the motorcycle revved up and ready to go, they embark on another thrilling ride, emphasizing that the adventures are far from over for this dynamic daredevil duo. In the episode Sold, Gunther's beloved Viking cuckoo clock becomes the focal point of a series of events. Kick accidentally damages the clock, leading Gunther to hold an auction to replace it. Surprisingly, Jackie Wackerman is the sole attendee and wins a day with Kick as the highest bidder. Initially resistant to spending time with Jackie, Kick reluctantly goes along with her extravagant plans to pamper him. The situation takes an unexpected turn when Kick discovers Gunther's emotional attachment to the clock. Misunderstandings abound as Kick, fearing the cost of a replacement, agrees to marry Jackie for the auction money. However, Gunther reveals that he values Kick more than the clock and had multiple Viking clocks all along. Another important episode, Hand in Hand, starts with Kick attempting a stunt in a bat cave where he comes across Kendall. Kick and Kendall find themselves in an awkward predicament when their hands get stuck together due to a rare cave sap. Fearing the implications of being seen as a couple, they embark on a mission to separate themselves before Kendall's boyfriend Ronaldo's birthday dinner. Their journey involves a series of humorous encounters and attempts to conceal their situation from friends and acquaintances, leading to comical situations, disguises, and even a close call with Brad. As they work together to find a solution, Kick and Kendall share moments of collaboration and flirtation, adding a layer of romantic tension to the storyline. The episode concludes with a funny twist as Ronaldo, attempting to thank Kick, inadvertently gets his own hand stuck to theirs, leaving them all connected at the birthday celebration. In the episode Kart to Kart, Kick is excited to hit the go-kart track at Go 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 Kart World, owned by former racing champion Eddie Clutch. However, his plans take a turn when Brad, his older brother, becomes the instructor at the track. Brad offers to teach Kick how to drive a go-kart with the promise of extra credit. The situation gets complicated when Gordy Gibble, the antagonist, takes control, rebranding the track as Go Go Gordon World. Unfortunately, Gordy's management leads to the Buttowski family being banned from the track and Brad losing his job. Determined to reclaim their favorite pastime, Kick races against Gordy, ultimately winning and proving that the track rightfully belongs to the Buttowski family. Eddie Clutch's arrival solidifies their victory, and the Buttowskis are welcomed back to the track. In Detained, Principal Henry, fed up with Kick's school antics, calls upon the retired Miss Ciccarelli to restore order. Ciccarelli quickly establishes her authority by giving Kick, Gunther, and others detention for various infractions, even seemingly minor ones. The group realizes that Ciccarelli's strict disciplinary measures could lead to permanent records, prompting Kick to rally his allies against her. Facing a common enemy, Kick gathers Mouth, Ronaldo, Kendall, and others to form a plan to expose Ciccarelli's true intentions. The group works together, using their unique skills to execute the plan, including distracting Ciccarelli, obtaining key information, and swapping incriminating discs. Kick, knowingly getting captured, manages to cleverly swap Ciccarelli's detention disc with Ronaldo's recording, ultimately revealing her plot to frame the students for school chaos. The plan succeeds as Principal Henry witnesses the evidence, leading to Ciccarelli's own detention and subsequent firing. The gang celebrates their victory with Ronaldo melting Ciccarelli's disc as a final act. The school returns to normalcy after Ciccarelli's departure. In another important episode titled Dead Man's Roller Coaster, we see Brad telling ghost stories to Kick and Gunther over a campfire. Kick interrupts him, stating they came here to pay respects to the dead man Dave, who died in this very spot 20 years ago, and Kick has his skateboard. According to Kick, Dave was the purest skater who ever lived, who had no interest in money or women and only skated for the sport. Just then, Brad pretends to see the ghost of Dave and uses it as a distraction to drive off, leaving Kick and Gunther alone in the forest. Kick says he knows a shortcut, which happens to go through the dark forest. After wandering around for what appears to be 3 days, Kick finally admits he does not know the way home. While looking for signals on Gunther's phone, the duo comes across an abandoned amusement park, which gives them endless possibilities for dangerous stunts. As they make themselves comfortable, Brad sees a picture of baby Kick at home, making him realize that despite being a jerk to him most of the time, he does in fact love Kick. Meanwhile, a shadowy figure is keeping an eye on the boys as they play in the amusement park. Soon after, this ghostly figure makes his presence known to the boys, while Brad at home cries upon seeing picture of him and Kick, 17 Wah. When his father asks where Kick is, Brad realizes his mistake and rushes to pick up his brother. In the park, the ghost shows himself and challenges Kick to skateboarding, leading to an epic stunt battle all over the place. After Kick corners the ghost, it recognizes the board in Kick's hand, stating that it belongs to him. Just then, he takes off the black costume he was wearing, and out comes Dave, who is very much alive to this day. Turns out, Dave was tired of the fame and money and wanted an escape. He asks Kick to keep his identity and this place hidden, and just then, Brad arrives with Van and hugs Kick, relieved that he is okay. When Kick says they should head home, Brad finds the park really cool and says that it will be his new hangout spot from now on. However, Dave scares him off with his ghost costume and then performs a stunt with Kick as a farewell. In the episode Attica, Kick, Brad and Harold find themselves bonding during a night of male bonding after Honey and Brianna leave for Brianna's pageant. Kick plans an extreme stunt that involves traversing the house from the attic, down the stairs, and onto an ice slide outside. However, the plan goes awry when Brad and Kick engage in a sibling rivalry. They end up stuck in the attic after a scuffle, and attempts to escape fail. During their time in the attic, Brad is revealed to have a magazine stash that Kick mocks, and Harold exposes his secret cookie-eating spot. The trio faces various challenges, including the fear of an imaginary evil attic gnome created by Harold. As they try to call for help, Gunther arrives but is scared off by the supposed evil attic gnome. The boys spend a cold night in the attic, trying to stay warm. Eventually, they discover that the evil attic gnome is just a raccoon, and Harold, using his signature move, the reverse pyramid, helps Kick and Brad escape. The bonding experience in the attic brings the Buttowski brothers closer together, and they manage to have fun despite the challenges. When Honey and Brianna return the next day, they find the boys safe and sound, having formed a stronger bond during their night of male bonding. In Power Play, the Mellowbrook Elementary School is preparing for a production of Romeo and Juliet, with Ronaldo and Kendall cast as the lead roles. Kick, uninterested in the drama, tries to escape the rehearsal, but is convinced by Mr. Huang, the drama teacher, to take the role of Ronaldo's understudy. Fearing playing opposite Kendall, Kick becomes Ronaldo's bodyguard in disguise, trying to prevent any harm to his fellow actor. However, Ronaldo catches onto Kick's motives and manipulates him into doing his bidding. On the opening night, a sandbag falls on Ronaldo, forcing Kick to take on the role of Romeo. The twist unfolds as Kendall is revealed to have orchestrated the incident to have Kick play the lead role and potentially share a kiss with her. However, Kick fakes an injury to avoid the kiss, leading to a humorous turn of events with Mr. Huang and Gunther distracting the audience with a dance routine. In Bad Table Manners, a new big-screen TV arrives, sparking a dispute between Brad and Brianna over what to watch. Harold decides to settle the matter through a ping-pong match, reviving his old method of conflict resolution from his youth. However, things escalate when Harold, passionate about watching Male Cop, unveils his formidable ping-pong skills, defeating Brad with his signature move. The chaos continues as Harold declares that ping-pong will now govern all decisions in the family. Fearing this, Honey tries to persuade Kick to challenge Harold. Ultimately, Kick agrees to a ping-pong match, and the intensity of the game leads to a wild and destructive journey through Mellowbrook. The family hopes for Kick's victory to avoid ping-pong dictating their lives, but the climax results in both the TV and ping-pong table being destroyed. As a compromise, Honey suggests settling matters through bingo, revealing her strong passion for the game. Can someone introduce this family to the alien concept of talking? In Petrified, Kick, Harold, and Brad engage in a storytelling competition during their camp out. Each of them shares a spooky story with the others in hopes of scaring the other off. Brad tells the tale of The Toilet of Terror, where a character named Woodrow turns into a toilet after a bizarre incident in a portable toilet. Harold presents The Car, a story about his revenge on Brad and Kick for messing with his car, involving mysterious disappearances represented by items on the car's antenna. Kick's story, A Nightmare on Buttowski Street, features a vengeful spruce tree that comes alive after being cut down by Brav and Harold. The stories lead to amusing reactions and scares among the characters. Ultimately, Kick's imaginative tale wins the competition, leaving him as the last one in the tent and achieving his goal. In this comedic episode, Say Cheese, the Buttowski siblings find themselves in a pizza-fueled conflict over the last slice. The situation escalates into a full-fledged fight, resulting in the destruction of a cherished family picture. Witnessing the aftermath, Honey, the mother, becomes mentally unstable, deeply upset by the ruined photograph. Over the years, she attempts to find a perfect replacement, but her quest is consistently thwarted. When Harold, the father, tries to calm her down, his efforts prove futile. The family's attempts to fix their appearance for a new photo also go awry, leading them to a photo store just before closing time. Despite various failed attempts to secure a new picture, Honey gets over the loss, and her mental state is no longer affected. However, a new mishap occurs when Harold accidentally breaks a picture of himself and Honey, and now both of them are going crazy from this loss. In Last Fan Standing, Kick Buttowski sets a personal record by performing an extraordinary stunt, an intense skateboarding feat involving rings of fire and twirling snakes. However, his accomplishment is overshadowed by the return of cousin Kyle, who claims to be Kick's #1 fan. Jackie, who overhears this, confronts Kyle, and a fierce rivalry begins over the title of Kick's biggest fan. Kick, exhausted from his stunt, suggests that Jackie and Kyle work together to throw him a celebration. Despite Gunther's objections, Kick goes to bed, hoping for some rest. The next day, Kick attempts to escape Jackie and Kyle's overwhelming enthusiasm by finding various hiding spots, but they persistently track him down. Finally, back at home, Kick discovers the celebration they've set up for him, involving surprise guests like Billy Stumps, Dirt Bike Mike, Jock Wilder, Rock Callahan, and Boom McConder. However, Kick, exhausted and irritated, reveals that he simply wanted to sleep and didn't appreciate the constant fanfare. Disappointed, Jackie and Kyle cancel the planned surprises. As the episode concludes, Gunther reignites the debate over who is Kick's true #1 fan, claiming the title as Kick finally gets some much-needed sleep. In Stay Cool, Kick and Brianna accidentally break Dad's air conditioner on the hottest day of the year, leading to Brad being wrongly blamed and grounded for the entire summer. Kick and Brianna decide to keep their mistake a secret to avoid consequences, with Kick having a summer full of planned stunts and Brianna heading to camp sometimes. However, in the end, Kick takes responsibility and reveals the truth, shocking Harold, Brianna, and Brad. As a punishment for framing Brad, Kick is forced to pedal a bike to power a fan, while Brianna leaves for camp. Ironically, Brianna's departure takes an unexpected turn when her belongings end up in the jaws of an alligator after a slip caused by a banana peel she tossed out of her window earlier in the episode. In Role Reversal, Kendall challenges Kick to a motocross stunt without a motto, gaining popularity as Mellowbrook's top daredevil and leaving Kick feeling overshadowed. As Kendall continues to steal Kick's spotlight, he decides to challenge her to a roller derby, but it's for girls only. Undeterred, Kick recruits Gunther, Mouth, Emo Kid, and Howie to form a team, Kiss Buttowski and the Lipstick Killers. Despite initial setbacks, the boys employ a clever strategy, using kissy faces to distract Kendall's team and catching up in the second jam. In the end, both Kick and Kendall get disqualified, Kick for being a boy in disguise, and Kendall for kissing him. Oh, I love me a love-hate relationship. And now, it is time for the final episode of the show Rocked. Kick Buttowski is called upon to stop a bank robbery in Melowopolis and faces the threat of a villain called the Dark One, who sets up an elaborate plan to get Kick's attention. The Dark One demands a series of absurd items and a large sum of money, leading Kick and Gunther to meet these demands in disguise. However, the situation takes a comedic turn when the Dark One reveals himself to be Kick's brother, Brad, who orchestrated the entire scenario to lure Kick into a confrontation. The dream concludes with Kick realizing it was all a dream and confronting Brad in the waking world. Even in the dream world, our cute little daredevil cannot rest. There is indeed no rest of the wicked. So that will be it from us. If you enjoyed the video, then leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for similar content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.